What is up, Serie A fans? This is a very special edition of Stoppage Time. You guys know we usually go live during the weeks on Tuesdays, but we're trying to switch things up a little bit. So we're here live on a Sunday afternoon after most of the games have been played, and we have a big one that we're going to preview: Napoli and Milan. But we got my boy over here, Joe Cappuccino, wearing the slick shades, looking like Robert Downey Jr. from Endgame. I love it, man. How you doing?
Good. How are you, Cliff?
I'm
It's been a
doing
minute.
great.
It's been a minute.
It has been a minute. We have to get you on the show more often, but I know you're a very busy man, so it's tough to book you.
hmm
But we got a great show for you guys today. We have a few things first to be getting into. We got to get in the business side. So obviously we are sponsored by All Juve Cast, our amazing team. They just had a great watch along for the Juventus Spezia match before they handed it off to us. And obviously Striped Hearts. I got my gear. I've been wearing this stuff literally almost every day. I do wash it, but I've been wearing it almost every day this week, whether it's my hoodie, my Vlahovic tee, or this amazing long sleeve Bianconeri shirt. So I love it. You guys got to get some. It's super comfortable, basically all cotton, just great quality stuff. But back to the Serie A action that we had. We just ended with the Juventus Spezia match that ended 1-0. Really,
hmm
well, let's break that down a little bit briefly. Let's talk about the Spezia side. What did they do to kind of keep Juve from blowing this out?
They attacked. They looked really good the second half. I think that was pretty much what Thiago Motta said at the halftime. He was like, "Look, any team that has kind of forced Juve back has had the upper hand," and that was another that was true, and it has been true. And we got exposed. They had their chances. They didn't sit back, which is what they did the first half, which was a mistake, and that's what Juventus capitalized on.
Yeah,
So yeah,
100%.
it's a tale of two halves for sure.
And that's really been a running theme for Juventus throughout this season. And Spezia, I think we should be giving them some credit because they I think they looked at those Torino and Fiorentina matches and found kind of a blueprint of how to, in theory, shut down Vlahovic because he was essentially a non-factor in this one. He was not being able to really get loose. He was trying to hold up play when balls were played in the air towards him, but he really didn't have a lot of room to move around. So they did a very good job shutting him down. They were trying to look for Morata, who ended up getting the goal that sealed it for Juve earlier on in the match. But really not a lot going on in this one. But Spezia started being very dangerous later on in this match. So all credit, I think, to Thiago Motta, who's been a surprisingly very good coach this season.
hmm Yeah,
Um,
I mean they're still fighting that relegation battle.
yeah,
Unsurprisingly, Juventus came out on top, um, which is this was a must-win game.
yeah.
Absolutely, 3 points needed to happen, and it did. So yeah, it's just got to keep moving on.
100%. And for everybody who's watching right now, we are live on Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. But if you guys would get onto the YouTube channel, that'd be great because that's our new up and running channel. That's really what we're going to have all of our main stuff going through. We have some really great interviews coming up in the next few days. I just did a Verona interview yesterday with a wonderful fan, Rick Hoff, who has a few books out there right now, too. I know we got some book buffs in the All Juve cast team, so maybe we'll check out some of his stuff. A lot of history on Verona and the city and things, so really interesting reads. Um, so yeah, we have that interview that will be releasing, I think, today or tomorrow. And then we have Fiorentina. We have a special guest for a Fiorentina interview that we will announce soon. That will be releasing sometime this coming week. But that's a little tease for you guys. A little bit more into the matches that we had. We had Inter beating Salernitana very handily, 5-0 on Friday. Really not too much to speak on that one. Just it was Salernitana against Inter, and Inter just went at it. I think Dzeko had a brace. Lautaro was running on a hat trick almost, and he got a brace. So just absolute domination. Anything you want to add on that one, or not really?
Uh, what is there to say? Another
Yeah,
relegation side versus top of the table team. You would expect Inter to win, and
yeah.
they did handily. So I think that the only thing that was surprising was the scoreline. But
Yeah,
yeah,
100%. And we'll get to the next games. We had Udinese beating Sampdoria 2-1, in that mid-table kind of action. And we had one game that I'll get to in a second. Roma, Atalanta, Roma taking this one 1-0. Cagliari losing to Lazio 3-0. And then today so far we had Juventus beating Spezia 1-0. Genoa, Empoli drawing. Bologna-Torino, which I thought would be a very intriguing match this weekend, was pretty stale and ended in a 0-0 draw. Fiorentina-Verona, which we'll talk about, 1-1 draw. And then Sassuolo-Venezia, 4-1. Sassuolo destroying Venezia in this one, dashing my hopes of keeping them in Serie A with those beautiful kids. But we'll talk about the Saturday match with Roma beating Atalanta. This one I watched, and it was very back and forth. Not a lot going on in terms of shots on goal, but it was really intriguing. A lot of back and forth. Roma looked up to the challenge. Atalanta looked like they were into it, but it actually came down to a Tammy Abraham class finish for Roma getting the win. What do you say on Roma and Atalanta? Which team, if you had to say, is going to finish higher? Is it going to be Atalanta or is it going to be Roma?
They both have a history of, fumbling over the finish line. So it's up until recently, Atalanta have kind of reversed that stigma a little bit. But if you look at their current record, it's spotty to say the least. They have 3 losses within the last 5 games. That's a tough one. Roma, not much better. 3 draws out of the last 5 games. I mean, I'll obviously take that over Atalanta, but that's it. I think we're going to be seeing them go head to head for the as in head to head for who claims that last spot, that fifth place spot, all the way to the end of the season. Right now, I would say the wind is in Roma's sails. But we'll have to. You never really know. You never really know with either of those teams. So
this has been one of the wildest seasons in terms of parity for Serie A. It's nobody. You don't really know what's going to happen. Like we had Cagliari drawing. Oh wait, did they beat Napoli or did they draw them a few weeks ago? I forget.
Cagliari, I want to say they drew. I gotta look that up. I don't remember off the top of my head.
Yeah, it's all good. Yeah, that was a shocking result. There've been a lot of shocking results this season. Sassuolo beating Inter obviously recently. Remember, but yeah. So we'll see. I think Atalanta, like you said, seemed like they're losing a little bit of that steam, and Roma are really starting to pick it up. And that's good for Mourinho. And he's been out the last couple of matches, so he'll be back. He'll be back to his antics, and he's gonna love it every second of it. So we'll get into the next match that I want to kind of go into. Fiorentina-Verona, which we did preview in the interview that I recorded yesterday. So when that comes out, it'll be kind of weird because the match will already have happened, but we were talking about it prior to the match. But this match was so interesting because I really thought Verona and Fiorentina was going to be a higher scoring one. I thought it'd be 3-2. I thought I was kind of hoping Verona would get the win because obviously my guest was a Verona fan. So it was a good one. It was a really interesting match. Piontek, actually, with the first goal, the ball fell beautifully to his feet, and he just volleyed it in very well. So Piontek has been on a hot streak ever since he's been back in Serie A. And then the goal for Verona came off a Caprari penalty. So I'm not sure if you're able to watch this one, but on these two teams, what are your sense of these teams so far this season?
So, along with Lex, I'm a big Italiano fan.
You're Italiano. Wait. You're an Italiano sexual? Is that what you are?
Yep, I do. I like Italiano. I like his style. Sure, he'll get scored on a lot, but I think his teams generally also score a lot. It's really nice football to watch.
Mm-hmm.
So I really enjoy his brand. But this game was like if you were to show this game to
a neutral,
a neutral or like anybody outside the know, and you were like, yeah, Italiano is one of like the best attacking coaches in the game. I think that they would be like, why? Like you just don't exactly see it. There were very few shots, very few on target too. It just like it's another one of those mid-table clashes that just kind of propel the rest of the league forward. I don't think that this will be incredibly detrimental to like Fiorentina trying to increase their standing in the league, but Verona's proven time and time again to be a really tough team to crack. So They got to take the draw for what it's worth.
You tell me this: who finishes higher this season, Fiorentina or Verona?
Absolutely Fiorentina.
Okay.
Definitely Fiorentina. Yep.
Yeah, I think Tudor, actually Verona's manager, did a really good job.
He's done a great job.
Yeah, he did a great job planning for this match specifically because when you always play Italiano, your biggest fear is that obviously they don't have Vlahovic now because he's on Juve, but still Cabral, Nico Gonzalez, Sotil, Piontek, they're still very dangerous. So he did a really good job kind of holding them to only one goal. So I think he did a really good job in his game plan. And everybody knows that I'm a big Italiano fan. I have been on record saying that he will be Juventus's coach within the next 3 to 5 seasons, which is a very bold take, I think, but I think it happens. Juve love a bald manager. We know Conte, even though he technically has hair, he's a bald manager. You got Allegri, and then Italiano is the next in the and Sadi too. So we got all the bald managers. All we need is Joe to be the assistant. We'll be all set. But everybody knows
Talk some sense to Allegri.
Yeah, exactly, because that was pure terrible that we saw today. But yeah, this one was an interesting match to watch. What do you say about Piontek? What do you think of him as a player? He's an intriguing player.
So I remember when he was that sensational Genoa player, and he was having a fantastic season. Then he went to Milan, sort of looked like it was going to be the real deal, but then just a massive, massive drop off. Just like it's nowhere to be found, to the point where he got shipped off to Germany. Honestly, I can't comment on his, his Bundesliga form.
Yeah.
But I want to say that it wasn't terrible, but I don't think it wasn't great either. It wasn't like that one hot, Genoa Milan season. It just wasn't. But I think that he's slowly but surely, rediscovering his attacking prowess. I think Italiano's really good at doing that with center forwards. If you look at his track record at Spezia and now with Fiorentina, he can get players with the right characteristics like Piontek to score, get them in the positions, give them the support that they need to get those scoring opportunities. So yeah. I think Piontek he's an Italiano kind of player.
Yeah, 100%. So we'll move on. But that was a really great match to watch. And I guess I really want to get into, and this will be before we go into our preview. We all know that this is my favorite game. This is my favorite game, buy or sell. This will be a little bit of a abbreviated version because obviously we are running low on time due to the fact that the Milan-Napoli match is coming up. So we'll keep this episode pretty brief. We're also trying out new times for the show. So let us know what you guys would want to see. If you want to see a Monday night, Sunday afternoon, what kind of time that you guys would be interested in, just so we can get a sense of kind of what the fans want, because we always want to do it for the fans. We want to do it for the people. So buy or sell. First name on the list, Caprari from Verona. Buy or sell?
He put in the winning penalty. I mean, not the winning penalty, but he put in the tying penalty, I should say. So buy.
Okay. I would go buy as well. I think right now he has 10 goals and 7 assists. Those numbers are insane for any team.
Yeah.
Just incredible. So I buy as well. And he's on loan too, so that could mean that maybe Verona are in the market to maybe buy him permanently. So Duncan, I forget his first name. I think it's not Tim Duncan. I know he plays for the Spurs. So forget his first name, but Duncan, midfielder for Fiorentina, he played phenomenal today. Would you buy or sell him?
I'll go buy. I will go buy just based on his form today. So
okay. I'm going to go buy as well. I think he's under the radar. I think he could get a big transfer maybe soon if he keeps up this form. Next player. This one's a little bit of an enigma for me. Mkhitaryan. Do you buy or sell him on Roma?
Sell. Absolutely sell. He got a red card he got a red card in the game. For me, he's hot and cold. He can look great and he can also be complete garbage. So yeah, I think that Roma should probably move on.
Yeah, I think it's time to move on from him as well. I can't believe we're agreeing on everything, but I would say sell him just because you want to also Yeah, exactly. You want to make room for the younger players too, because there's a lot of young players that are trying to be integrated into the squad. Not to mention you have Zaniolo, who's still a Roma player for as of right now, despite what the media says. So maybe you slot him in where Mkhitaryan usually plays, and you let him kind of ball out. Um, Next player. I think this will be our last one because I couldn't think of anybody else unless you have someone else. Domenico Berardi, buy or sell?
If I'm Sassuolo, I'm keeping that guy just because he balls for them. He really, really does. I feel like if you take him out of Sassuolo, he won't be the same player. He's got to be there for forever. So yeah, I'd buy. I'd buy.
I buy him as well, just because you look at him, even on the national team when he plays, he's not the most explosive player, but he's very quick with the ball at his feet, and he makes
Hmm.
good decisions. He's a creative player. That's what's crucial in these teams like Sassuolo because they're very proactive in the attack. They're always going to go, so he's that perfect creator for them, especially now that they don't have Boga anymore. So they need one person to be kind of the focal point, and Berardi has been that guy amongst other players like obviously Raspadori and Scamacca. And on that note, I actually did want to mention about the Sassuolo match, Raspadori scoring, Scamacca getting one, and Berardi getting two penalties. What were your thoughts on that performance actually from those players?
I mean, it is Venezia. Venezia are another one of those teams that you know I do give them credit that I it's not even just because they have good looking kids. It's they at least they try to play a brand of football. You can see it. They try and attack. Um, Paolo Zanetti has ideas. Like it's very clear. I just don't know if they're quite there yet. I would love to see them in Serie A another season. I'm wondering what being in Serie A would do to help them develop as a club. But I just when you're up against Sassuolo, which has attacking prowess and has upset teams,
Mm-hmm.
it's not going to be pretty when you're close to the bottom of the table. So yeah, we
Yeah.
saw that today.
Not gonna lie, like I said before, it hurt me to see Venezia lose because they're my sweethearts of Serie A right now. Um, but yeah, so I guess we'll get into the big match that everybody's talking about. We have obviously in about 15 minutes we have Napoli against Milan. Um, what are some of your thoughts on this match? I don't think we have the official lineups, or do we? Have you seen the official lineups anywhere?
I have not seen any official lineups anywhere.
Let me pull it up right now. So these are at least according to this app that I'm on, the projected lineups are for Napoli. Ospina, it's going to be a 4-2-3-1. Ospina and goal. Mario Rui, left back. Koulibaly, Rahmani at center back, and Di Lorenzo at right back with Fabian Ruiz and I forget how to say his first name, but Lobotka
Lobotka.
Lobotka, the baller. And then Insigne, Zielinski, Politano, and Osimhen. So basically, they're full squad. Um,
Hmm.
so they're at full strength. And then Milan, also a 4-2-3-1, playing with Magnan at goal, Hernandez, Teo at left back, Kalulu at center back, Tomori at right center back, and then Calabria as the right back, with Benacer and Tonali dropping into the midfield with Leao, Kessié, and Messias on the wing, and then Giroud up top at striker. This is really interesting because they're both same formation. I think if you look at this on paper, you look at the midfield matchup. I would say if you go Tonali, Benacer, Kessié versus Ruiz, Lobotka, Zielinski, that's extremely comparable in terms of the midfield ability. I would give a slight edge. Oh, it's really tough, but like they're both in such good form. I'd probably give a slight edge to Milan, honestly. Because I
I would
think
give
if
it to Napoli.
you give it to Napoli, okay. I mean, Zelinski's really good, but I don't have the full faith in Lobotka, whereas Benacer and Tonali I know can hold the fort down defensively. And then Kessié, I think when he's more on the attacking end, he can provide something creatively. And then if he's needed, drops back and helps a lot in the midfield and in the build-up. So it's really close. I think this is really tight. And it's good, actually, that we have competing views in this because I want to get your reasoning. Why do you think Napoli has a better chance in midfield?
So the main reason why is because I don't like Kessie as a number 10. I don't see him as a 10. I think that he doesn't provide as much as a 10 as he does as a center midfielder. But when you have Benacer and Tonali as those two more defensive minded midfielders, then you have to go with that pairing because they both have been playing great lately. So in terms of who gets the edge, Zielinski owns that role over
Oh yeah,
Kessié any day of the week. So yeah, and based upon how those three have been playing lately, by three I mean Zielinski, Lobotka, and Fabian Ruiz. They will probably cause this Milan side a lot of issues.
I will say though, if you put in Anguissa over Lobotka, I'd give it to them. I'd give it to Napoli if you put Anguissa
He's
in,
great too.
because I
He's
think
great
that
too.
would be what puts it over the edge for me. But obviously, I think the front three. If you look at the front threes side by side, Giroud, Leao, Messias versus Insigne, Osimhen, Politano. I don't think that's much of a debate. I think it goes to Napoli. What do you think?
In terms of the 9, yes. Left wing,
Leao.
got to go Napoli. Right wing, it goes to. Oh wait, it's the way it's oriented on my screen right now.
Oh,
I would take Leão can play on either side,
yeah.
but they have him playing on the left wing. He's fantastic. He's having probably the best season that I've seen him have in a Milan shirt. And then Insigne, wrapping up his Napoli career this season. He's been playing well too. He's their top scorer right now, along with Osimhen. But yeah, I mean, this is a little bit tougher, but I think it's going to come down to the two danger men, Osimhen and Giroud, and there's no contest there. I think Osimhen is the more dangerous.
Yeah, and then I actually want to grill you about the back line too, because I think the back line is actually really interesting. Because if you so if you look at the center backs, I think Napoli obviously wins at the center backs, but Milan's outside backs, Calabria and Teo, I'd probably take them over Di Lorenzo and Rui any day of the week. What do you think?
Don't know if I agree with that, Cliff. Just because
Really?
I'm Mario Rui. Nope. And you can ask any Napoli fan that question. They will not. They will be like, nah, he's no good.
Wait,
Di
what?
Lorenzo.
Wait, repeat that.
Mario Rui. If you ask any Napoli fan, they will definitely have an opinion about it, and they'll
Like
probably
that they
be
like him or don't like him?
that they do not like him.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying I'd take Milan over Napoli.
But here's the thing. I think Di Lorenzo is a better right back than Calabria. He's a little bit more versatile. It also depends on what you're trying to do. If let's think about it. Milan have Teo Hernandez and Calabria, right?
Yep.
Calabria can't slot into say Teo Hernandez is bombing forward, right?
Yeah.
That would leave that area of the pitch kind of exposed. So the other center backs would need to kind of move over, and Calabria would kind of need to drop back a little bit, right?
Yep.
Di Lorenzo is much better at occupying that spot. He's a bigger dude. He can play center back. So that's why I also give him the edge. He can also go forward. He can cause a lot of problems. He's dangerous at set pieces. So
you're telling me
it really all depends.
You're telling me you take the outside backs of Napoli over Milan.
I would take Teo Hernandez from Milan, and I would take Di Lorenzo.
That wasn't the question, though. That wasn't the question. Who's outside
as a
backs?
Group together?
As a group. Actually, no. Let me ask you better. As a collective unit, whose collective unit would you take as a defensive back line?
That's tough. That's tough because I put a lot of stock in the two young center backs that Milan have. They do really well. And they also have Magnan, who's been huge in goal. Mm-hmm. Ospina is a good goalkeeper too, very reliable. But if I had to bank on something, I think we're gonna see. I think we're gonna see a Napoli win today. I think we're gonna see a Napoli win today.
Well, I didn't ask you that. You already jumped the gun. I wasn't asking.
But I'll take the Napoli back line, and I'll also say that a Napoli win.
I was going to say the Napoli backline just for the fact that Kalulu, even though he's been decent filling in at center back,
he's been really good.
He's out of position, though. He's naturally a right back. So I think, and Tomoni and him are phenomenal, but Rahmani and Koulibaly have been in amazing form together. So I'm going to take overall the Napoli backline. But if you're talking about goalies, obviously Magnan's a better goalie than Ospina, in my opinion. But you said a Napoli win. I will also go with the Napoli win. I think this ends in a 2-1 win for Napoli. I think we see an extremely exciting match today. I think we see a lot of yellows. I think we see a lot of aggression in this match. I think it's really highly contested. I wouldn't even put it past somebody getting sent off. So we'll see.
I can see it happening. I could see it happening.
Honestly, if anybody gets sent off, I think there's a good chance Teo gets sent off.
Yeah, that would make sense.
I don't know why. I just see he's a little bit of a hothead at times.
He's a little punk, so yeah.
You can see his hair. He's got like the mohawk with the blonde. He's a little bit of a punk boy. But yeah, this is going to be a really great match. Is there anything else you really want to touch on, Joe? Because I know we kind of have to wrap up shortly before this match.
No, Cliff, I'm just going to be watching this game. Just wanted to see who will end up, getting up on top of the league.
Okay. Well, this has been a very special edition of Stoppers Time, even though a shortened version. So we're still trying to work out kind of some times, guys. So feel free. I am on a social media hiatus, so I will probably have either our other co-host, usually Lou, or I'll have all Juve cast tweet maybe some times that you guys can vote on to see when you guys prefer us to go live. Just so we can get you guys talking, get you guys in the chat, get some questions, get some engagement. But Joe, as always, it's always a pleasure. Thank you to everybody out there for hopping in. And we got a really great match and some really great Serie A from this weekend. So everyone, thank you so much for hopping on. And you guys have a great rest of your Sunday. Buona domenica a tutti. And we'll see you guys on the next episode of Stoppage Time. See ya.